transformation specialist Rob Lopicola and sex addiction recovery coach. And today I am here to help you if you're battling with sex addiction, if you're filled with self-loathing and self-hatred, and you have an internal dialogue of just hating yourself and feeling inferior and wearing masks everywhere you go. You tend to hide in secrecy the dilemma that you are dealing with on a daily basis, your sex addiction. And there are many components to sex addiction. There's many different various behaviors in sex addiction. Some people are addicted to prostitutes, some are addicted to OnlyFans, some are addicted to masturbation and pornography, some are addicted to having affairs on the side outside of their relationships, sex clubs, cruising parks and bathrooms, in secrecy going to video stores and glory holes. I mean, all of these behaviors can become addictive, and depending on your pattern of sex addiction, one or a multitude of these can be addictive for you. If any of this resonates with you and you are struggling with sex addiction and you really want a way out, you are ready to change your life, please subscribe to my channel. I post a new video here every Tuesday for you to give you techniques and strategies and thoughts that you can use, learn, practice, and master to change and transform your life. So please subscribe now, hit that thumb up, and hit the bell as well so you get notified every time I post a new video. I am sober from sex addiction nearly 12 years, and I was sexually addicted to a lot of sexual behaviors. And I was addicted to methamphetamine and alcohol as well. And I'm nearly 12 years sober this July, and I'm grateful, and I wouldn't refund the sanity and the peace of mind I have today for any of that chaos that you may be experiencing. And a lot of times, as sex addicts, we feel that sexual activity is the problem. Porn is your problem, cruising is your problem, sex clubs are your problem, pornography is your problem, and none of that is your problem. I know it might be an interesting angle to take, something you may not be too familiar with. And what I want to talk about are all of these sexual behaviors are symptoms. Yes, these sexual behaviors are symptoms of the problem. Just like if you had the flu, the coughing, aching, stuffy head fever, those are symptoms of the flu. These sexual behaviors that you're addicted to are symptoms of the problem. The problem is your thinking. Yes, it's the way your brain is functioning, it's the way your brain is working, it's your thinking that is the problem. And if you can change your thinking, if you could change how your brain works, those symptoms will go away. At least go away enough that you're not fighting those addictive behaviors. And if you are living a sexually addictive lifestyle and all of these behaviors or symptoms are what you're practicing on a regular basis, well, you're likely beating yourself up, fighting these urges, these cravings, these behaviors, and time again, you lose the fight. Yes, you will lose fighting those cravings and urges because they are way too powerful. Way too powerful. Your brain has become a drug manufacturing machine. You're not only addicted to certain behaviors, these symptoms that you feel, you believe are giving you what you think you need, you're also addicted to dopamine and adrenaline, the chemicals your brain's releasing into the body in massive amounts. When you get involved in these sexually addictive behaviors, your brain has learned those behaviors will dump massive amounts of dopamine into the bloodstream, and you get a fix of it. So you're addicted to those behaviors. You're also addicted to the chemicals released in the drug manufacturing machine that is in your skull. Wow. So when you overcome sex addiction, or when you get to the side of sobriety, where you're no longer acting out in those addictive sexual behaviors, it's a journey, because you have to come to terms with the fact that you're addicted to a certain pattern of living, you're addicted to certain behaviors that are giving you a fix, and you're addicted to the chemicals being released in the brain. What that means is, as you transition to a life of sobriety, and when I say sobriety, I want you to understand what I mean is soundness of mind. When you get to a point where your brain is sound, where you're sane, because in sex addiction, it's insanity. And you want to lead a life of sanity where you're sane and sound of mind. So that's what I mean by sobriety. When you transition to a sober lifestyle, you're going to go through a phase of withdrawal. Yes, a very challenging time. As you give away these symptoms by changing your thinking, you're going to go through a period of withdrawal where you will have symptoms of crankiness, insomnia, mood swings, anger, discontent, uncomfortable. You're going to basically be fidgety in your own skin and uncomfortable. And you're going to have to get through that. You're going to have to grow through the withdrawal, if you will, to lead a life of sexual sobriety. So, when we change our thinking, which is the problem, the symptoms start to go away naturally. And later, when you are experiencing a sober lifestyle where you are no longer deeply in the grips of sex addiction because your thinking has changed, the urge, the thought, that could pop up. Because the neurology, the neurons in the brain from a life of sex addiction are still there. You could always return back to a sex-addicted lifestyle because the neurons will always be there. But in time, as you're practicing healthy behaviors and you are no longer wrapped in the sickness of mind and practicing the symptoms of the sickness, which are the sexually addicted behaviors, once you're living a sober life, those neurons aren't very active anymore. They're not firing up. They have cobwebs around them, so to speak. But because you have been practicing new healthy behaviors, you now have created new neurons in the brain. They're firing up, and now it becomes a habit for you to do healthy, productive, constructive behaviors. Going to the gym, going for a jog, socializing, going out with friends, connecting to family, getting private time where you're meditating or praying to God or going for a walk in the park. See, now you start practicing these behaviors and they're fired up in the brain, and the behaviors in your sex addiction are no longer fired up. They're dull. But the urge and the craving could creep up every now and then. And something I want you to understand very clearly is you are not responsible for your first thought, but you are responsible for what you do with that thought. So while you're experiencing a life of sobriety or the journey through withdrawal to live a life where you are finally the man you want to be, living by your morals and values, because in sex addiction, you're not living by your morals and values. You may still be a wonderful man, a beautiful man, but you're not living to those morals and values. So in sobriety, you are now living according to your morals and values. Whether you're in a relationship, a marriage, alone, or with people, you live with integrity. And that's where I want to get you. But it comes down to changing your mind and changing how you're thinking. So when you have a first thought, you're not responsible for that because that can come from a trigger. It could come at a blink of an eye. Something triggers that thought. Now what are you going to do with that thought? Are you going to nourish that thought? Are you going to let that thought take root? Are you going to start really thinking and obsessing on that thought? Then that will lead to an old behavior. And we call that, if you are sober, we call that a slip or a setback. And you want to have such a changed mindset that you compassionately understand a setback is just a setback. It is not, well, I had a setback, I might as well go full throttle back into my sex addiction. It's not an all or nothing. Setback's a setback. We wash our hands, we sustain a healthy mindset, and we reactivate all of those positive, constructive behaviors we do on a regular basis that make us feel good, living by morals and values and being a man of integrity. So if you do transition from sex addiction to sobriety and you go through a period of withdrawal, with support, with a coaching program or a spiritual advisor or a sponsor or somebody that can really help you through to get to the other side, now you continue that journey, you continue focused on where you want to go. So when you have a thought, always look at where you want to go. Don't keep looking at that thought, because then you're nourishing it and you're going to have a setback. But if you do, have compassion for yourself. A setback is just a setback. Les Brown calls a setback a setup for a comeback. So if you have a setback, wash your hands. You're worth it. You are worth it to live a life where you are a thriving, healthy, successful, sound of mind, sober individual. If you like this video and you want to see more, please right now subscribe to my channel. hit that like button. I post a new video for you every Tuesday that gives you ideas and strategies, techniques to lead a life into sexual sobriety. I also have free resources for you. I have a free ebook. It's 48 pages, 5 phases of recovery and transformation from sex addiction. Please go to my website and download it. Also, I have a 10-step free strategy session. It's 30 minutes long. It's 10 steps, strategies that will help you transition your life from one that is sex addicted to a life of sexual sobriety. So I'm grateful you spent some time with me today, this 10 minutes, and I look forward to seeing you again Tuesday. You have a great day now.